Welcome back to my channel. Today we will be learning about the War of the Spanish Succession. Let's go. In the early 18th century, Europe was plunged into a war that would reshape the balance of power across the continent. This was the War of the Spanish Succession, a conflict fought over who would control the vast Spanish Empire. The stakes were immense, as Spain's global holdings stretched from Europe to the Americas and the Philippines. The war began when Charles II, the last Habsburg king of Spain, died in 1700 without an heir. For decades, European monarchs had debated who would inherit his throne. His will named Philip of Anjou, the grandson of France's Louis XIV, as his successor. But other European powers, especially Austria and England, feared that a united France and Spain would become too dominant, disrupting the delicate balance of power. The Holy Roman Emperor, Leopold I, pressed the claim of his son, the Archduke Charles. And so, war broke out. On one side stood France and Spain, led by Louis XIV and his grandson Philip V. On the other, the Grand Alliance, a coalition of England, Austria, the Dutch Republic, and several German states, sought to prevent Bourbon dominance. This war saw legendary generals like the Duke of Marlborough and Prince Eugene of Savoy lead daring campaigns against French forces. One of the war's most significant battles was the Battle of Blenheim in 1704. The Duke of Marlborough and Prince Eugene of Savoy led a joint force that crushed the French and Bavarians, saving the Holy Roman Empire from invasion and shifting the war's momentum. Subsequent victories at Ramillies in 1706 and Oudenarde in 1708 further weakened France's position. By 1709, the war had reached a bloody stalemate. The Battle of Malplaquet, though a victory for the Grand Alliance, was one of the bloodiest battles of the war, leading to enormous casualties on both sides. Meanwhile, war weariness spread throughout Europe. France struggled with famine and economic collapse, while England's public and parliament grew tired of the prolonged conflict and its costs. Political shifts in England led to peace negotiations. After more than a decade of fighting, diplomacy took center stage. The Treaty of Utrecht in 1713 and the Treaty of Rastatt in 1714 formally ended the war. Philip V remained King of Spain but had to renounce any claim to the French throne, ensuring the separation of the two kingdoms. Spain ceded its Italian and Dutch territories to Austria, while Britain gained key strategic holdings like Gibraltar and Minorca. The balance of power in Europe had been restored, and Britain emerged as a dominant naval force. The War of the Spanish Succession reshaped Europe and set the stage for future conflicts. It was a war fought not just on battlefields, but in diplomacy, strategy, and the very halls of power. It marked the beginning of the modern balance of power system, a principle that would guide European politics for centuries. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more fascinating stories from history.